really have to remember is that the last few years we've had historic low rates, and that's not the norm. And we've become just a smidge spoiled in that way. So maybe you're a buyer and you're wondering how much higher your mortgage payment's going to be with the higher rates. Well, I'm Gabrielle Davis with eXp Realty, and I've invited Hannah Wilkes from Highlands Mortgage, and we're going to talk about a few of these things, and specifically one item that will hedge against the higher interest rates.
Thank you so much for having me today, Gabrielle. So the 2-1 buy down has become very popular recently and being used a lot more because we have had a higher rate environment. So what it is, for the first 2 years, you have a lower interest rate. It's a temporary buy down. So for the first year, it's 2% lower. For the second year, it's 1% lower. And then the third year, it goes to the original locked interest rate.
Okay, great. And then at that point, can they refinance?
Absolutely. So if rates are lower, they can refinance in that third year, or if rates are lower in those first 2 years, they can refinance and they don't lose the money from that buy down. It actually applies to principal. So there's no benefit loss by refinancing.
Okay, and there's no loss too, because if rates go up, then they're still at, even if it is 7%, but if they go up, they're still at the lower rate at the time.
Yes,
so
correct.
That's great. Now, so the seller pays this cost, and then explain to them a little bit more about if there's leftover of they can use that to apply towards their principal, correct?
Yes, correct. So in our case, for Highlands Residential Mortgage, the seller pays for this 2-1 temporary buy down. In a lot of cases, it's better than doing a price reduction because it may be less expensive for the seller to contribute to this buy down as opposed to reducing a price. So if there is money left over, what happens is that money goes into like a separate escrow account. And if you refinance in that first 2 years, any additional leftover goes directly to the principal, reducing the payoff.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Hannah, for talking about that. I appreciate you coming here because I think it's pretty sad that our consumers don't know this. Some realtors don't know it. So I appreciate you taking the time to educate our consumers.
Of course.
And then if you are looking to make a move, there are other things to consider besides the higher interest rates. The equity you've created over the past few years, the equity in the new home, and the constant rental increases if you're renting. So I'm Gabrielle Davis with eXp Realty, and Hannah and I are more than happy to help you. We can go through your particular situation and walk you through different options so that you can make the best educated decision for you and your family.